Welcome to Blitz Interviews. Like the game of chess, it's only lasts 10 minutes. It's actually almost a year, and we're on episode 60. And I guess it's mean we can have people back for the second part of our discussions. And I have a pleasure to talk to Josh today about a very interesting topic, and it's Cyber Week. Josh, what does it mean? What is Cyber Week? And maybe quickly, what do you do day by day?
Sure. So CyberWeek is one of Israel's two major cyber conferences. It's put on by the Blavatnik Cyber Center at Tel Aviv University, and it's kind of a great combination of technology, startups, and different technologies out there, but also policy. So it's different than a traditional trade show where there's a big floor and you're walking around. It's more a whole series of panels, around 45, 50 panels. I mean, there are some central events and a plenary, but it's a bit broader, and I think in many ways more interesting than traditional trade shows. So, and it attracts a good mix of people, both, I would say, cyber practitioners, but also a lot of senior government officials from around the world.
I'm guessing it's in Israel.
You're correct. It is in Israel. So it's from June 26th to June 30th, so about 2 months.
Before we go into the details, if somebody won't participate, or how much it costs, or approximately how they can sign up, we can put a link later on. If there's a way to participate remotely.
I do believe there will be a remote option. Registering for the conference is free. I'm also doing a delegation in conjunction with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce for senior U.S. and Canadian cyber officials and practitioners. So they can, if people are interested in the delegation, there is a registration fee for that. But if they are interested either in Cyber Week, just to go, or to actually be part of the delegation, they can just reach out to me and I'll help them with everything.
So we definitely have to dig the link for the virtual one if you cannot attend. Tell me a bit more about Chamber of Commerce. What does it mean? What do you guys do and why it's important?
So the Chamber of Commerce is the single most important U.S. business association in terms of representing the interests of American corporations, particularly on policy and legal issues before the U.S. government. So the Chamber has a robust international program with an excellent Israel program manager, and we work closely with them on a lot of sort of trade and regulatory issues of concern to the state of Israel. So we're doing this delegation with them because cybersecurity, a very interesting vertical, and is of interest to the Chamber across all of their geographies, both the US and international. So this is kind of one of their big cyber events for the year. And given the type of people they can attract, we mutually thought it would be good to leverage each other's connections and be able to add value that way.
How many people usually go with you on such delegations, I guess, before?
So before COVID, I would say around 25 or so. Actually, in February, the other Israel show is Cyber Tech, which is more of a traditional trade show. I wouldn't say it's the RSA of Israel because it's a lot smaller, but you could envision it as kind of a traditional trade show. So we did a delegation hybrid of UK and US, and we had about 25 total people. So I think for the Cyber Week delegation, we'll have at least 25, maybe closer to 35 or 40. And it's going to be a really good mix of policy and technical.
How many people usually come to Cyber Week, if you don't have the numbers?
Usually it's been as high as 8,000. So it's a pretty big event, right? And like I said, we'll have to see. Obviously, people are just getting back into the flow of traveling after COVID, right? So I think there's a lot of pent-up interest within the cyber community in visiting Israel. So I do anticipate a good turnout. I'm not sure if it'll be, quite the 8,000 that it was before COVID, but I think it's going to be a fairly robust turnout because we're hearing a lot of interest out there from folks. So,
besides the amazing food and education about hummus and shawarma, what else do you guys do with the delegation? Who do you guys meet usually? What's the benefits for people that come with you?
Yeah, so we usually, the way these delegations are structured is we have kind of a couple days of customized agenda just for the delegates, right? And then the last couple days are around the conference, and we'll schedule sort of specific events for them, but it's more to kind of leave them free at the conference. So for Cyber Week, delegation. We have one day trip to Israel's new cyber hub of Beersheba in the Negev Desert, where we will be visiting Israel CERT, essentially the Israel National Cyber Directorate's, I guess we could call it National SOC and Cyber Response Center. We'll be visiting the Cyber at Ben Gurion University, which is Israel's leading cyber research program at the academic level. And we'll be visiting a new Ministry of Energy cyber research center, specifically dealing with OT and critical infrastructure and one or two other things. So it's kind of the Israeli government's priority, partially for just economic development purposes and partially just to have kind of spread the wealth, so to speak, to have Beersheba as a kind of central cyber hub. And it's growing like crazy. And I think it is a place that's going to be interesting in and of itself. And then the second day, we're going to be have a series of visits with VCs. We'll be visiting a cyber training range, and of course, opportunities to meet with startups as well. So that's kind of how the delegations are structured. So I think we add a lot of value to people's experiences, but people can also come to CyberWeek on their own, and we can support them that way as well.
How people sign up? If they want to come with you, I guess we can direct them to the website as well. But if they want to come with you, should they just message you, email you?
I would say to come actually for CyberWeek generally, you can just register on the site. For actually joining the delegation, they should just contact me. I don't know if I should put my email address in the chat, if that would help.
We can probably, what we can do, people will see you LinkedIn and they can message you on LinkedIn.
Yes.
It's going to be the easiest, or they can email me, message me, and I'll direct them to you.
Okay, that sounds good. I'm happy to speak to anyone and tell them more details of the delegation.
You mentioned senior people. So usually, I guess it's CISOs, VPs, directors, whatever people usually go.
Yeah, generally speaking, we don't discriminate, right? It's up to the organization, but I would say relatively senior people, combination of what I would describe as end user sort of enterprise organizations, but also systems integrators, sort of solution providers, right? So you usually see CISOs, or from the end user, CISOs are one of their direct reports, or you usually see one of the senior executives or sometimes founder from a kind of systems integrator, solutions provider. So relatively, but I would encourage people to also think about, even if they're not at the senior level, I think for a CISO who may be extremely busy but wants to have one of their direct reports maybe go to Israel and kind of see what's out there, kind of come back with a comprehensive overview of technology options, maybe even as a kind of way of mentoring and expanding someone's own kind of broader cyber knowledge. I would encourage people to think about it that way as well, because we certainly don't have any kind of particular requirement in terms of titles or anything like that.
Josh, thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
I hope this information will help people. More people will join. I know it's an amazing event. I myself didn't go yet, so this is on my to-do list and bucket list to go as well.
Right, and it's on my to-do list to get you there.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Take care.